What's up, you guys? How you doing? It's been a while since I actually did a video related to Hawaiʻi softball, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. And I'm going to put up my banner first, but before I do that, guys, I want to thank you all for subscribing to me. If you think that I'm worth listening to, if you just want to see some of my games, or if you just want to see some of my recaps of the Supercross or motocross, or even just softball or men's basketball, I'm going to try to apply for Media Pass again for 2024-25. So hopefully I'll be able to get one. I just got to check in. Hopefully I'll get a seat. But anyway, guys, remember, subscribe if you think that I'm worth listening to. And anyway, let's get into this. Okay, now here comes my banner here. Right there. softball got 2 local girls out of the transfer portal who are coming back home to play for the University of Hawaiʻi. Carys Murakami and Liliana Thomas. Both are actually from Maryknoll. Did I go to school there? No. Absolutely not. But a couple of my cousins did, though. And I happen to know that Maryknoll happens to be where Hawaii News Now anchor Stephanie Lum went to school, and now she's anchoring the 5 and 10 o'clock news for Hawaii News Now. So obviously, this is some really good news out of the University of Hawaii. Now, granted, this is a little over a week ago, actually 8-9 days ago to be exact. I was just kind of finding a little bit of time when I should do it, but then again, I kind of forgot all about it. But although, to be perfectly honest, they actually did get a third out of the transfer portal from LMU, and that's Milan Ah-Yat. She transferred from LMU to back home. And these are 3 good pickups, and I'll tell you this, and I'll tell you exactly why. I thought last year was going to be their, like men's basketball. This was 2024 was kind of supposed to be a payoff year for softball as well, because they had 9 seniors on the roster. I thought they had 8, but it turns out they had 9 because McKenna Costazin, one of the other pitchers, has decided to not return for her senior year, and she was part of the graduating class as well for 2024. And as it turns out, she's actually seen Bernardo da Silva on the men's basketball team, and that's really good to see. I mean, it's always good. I'm not sure if they're roommates or whatnot, but something tells me that they got a thing going on. But I'm not going to get into that at all. But that's definitely where I'll leave it for sure. That's good, But for CSUN losing Carys Murakami, I am actually familiar with that name, because I was an intern for ScoringLive in 2022, and she was one of the names that I had heard when I was covering softball, when it was softball season. And unfortunately, you don't normally hear about a lot of guys who decide to commit to the University of Hawaii. Although the last one technically was quite a while ago, and that was Zorned out of Kapolei. And then Zor decided to transfer to Hilo for his final year this past year. And I thought that was a bit of a bummer, because I thought he was reminding me a lot of Bobby Nash when he was here. But anyway, as far as softball is concerned, it's good that we got 2 in-conference transfers now. And I'll tell you this, if softball can get 2 in-conference transfers, who's to think that men's basketball will get an in-conference transfer sooner or later? Because supposedly the word there is that men's basketball is looking at Deshaun Allen Eikens, and he was petitioning the NCAA for an extra year as a medical redshirt, I think. I don't know. I only saw those details only once. But I hope that UH can pick him up, because that will be a valuable pickup for sure. And of all the in-conference transfers going around, it's a little hard to believe that the University of Hawaii, the men's basketball team anyway, has not picked up a single one. Whereas in contrast, UH Wahine basketball, they got Lily Wahine Kapu out of Cal State Fullerton. And Lily decided to transfer home. Seems like that's really the only criteria that UH men's basketball is going to get an in-conference transfer. But as for softball, it's a little bit more wide open. And the thing is, UH softball, they have 2 in-conference transfers, like I said earlier. Carys Murakami is one of them. She went to Maryknoll, and she was on CSUN for a year, and then a year or two, and then she came back home. And that's good. And that's definitely good news. But that seems to be the only criteria in terms of UH getting in-conference transfers. Unless, of course, you're Addison Kostrincic, and she's one of the pitchers there. She's a transfer from Long Beach State. Okay? And I was scratching my head a little bit at how that came to be. But then again, the transfer portal works in so many different ways. And that's 2 in-conference transfers. And for UH men's basketball, they could have been the victim of an in-conference transfer with Morsek in the portal, and he ended up going to Fresno State. And speaking of Fresno State, UH softball had lost Key-Annah Campbell-Pua to the transfer portal last month about this time. And I was a little bit disappointed for sure. I thought that she was going to stay all 4 years, and she's kind of a local girl, mainly because if you think about her last name, Campbell-Pua, obviously, but then again, although it is a Hawaiian name, Key does hail from Nipomo, California. But, upon first viewing, one could presume that Key Campbell-Pua is a local girl, especially considering that Pua is a Hawaiian word, and sometimes a first name, and sometimes part of a last name in Key's case. But oh well, I was a little disappointed then, but I'll tell you what, with these 2 being picked up, and of course Milan Ah-Yat from LMU, she's a local girl. I don't know where she went to school. I'm pretty sure she went to but it was definitely in the state of Hawaii, that's for sure. But anyway, I'll tell you this. Picking out these 3 girls, even though it does say 2 in my banner, and of course on my title, I do believe that some holes are being filled, because with 9 seniors leaving the roster, with 9 seniors on the roster for the 2024 season, some of them were local girls, and Maya Nakamura, Dallas Millwood, and Key-Annah Campbell-Pua, just to name a few. But when you look at the roster for the non-seniors, aside from Kostazin, you got quite a bit of talent there. Some local kids, some from the mainland. And I think that UH is going to turn some heads in 2025, because you got other players returning. Mason Gibbs, I'm sure she's going to be coming back. Sierra Yamamoto, I'm very certain she'll be back. She's from Mililani. And, of course, another girl who's definitely coming back, I'm very sure, Maddox Muramoto, who is the granddaughter of Les Murakami. And I got to say, Muramoto really showed me quite a bit, and I think that she made an immediate impact even before Maya Nakamura went down with that season-ending knee injury. We just got to hope that we stay away from injuries. But Liliana Thomas, she was at Arizona State, I'm not sure how long, but I would not doubt that these 2 girls that are on my banner are going to generate a lot of RBIs and or home runs. Now, do I know anything about them as far as hitting home runs are concerned? No. We'll just have to wait and see. Milan Ah-Yat is in the same boat. at least in my book anyway. I don't know how good she is, but I'll tell you what, she must be pretty damn good. In fact, I think all three of these are going to be damn good. I saw a little bit of Carys Murakami when I was interning for ScoringLive, and some of which when she this past season when she was at CSUN. And hopefully UH men's basketball can get an in-conference transfer, because then again, if UH softball can get an in-conference transfer and Wahine basketball can get an in-conference transfer, who's to think that men's basketball is going to get one sooner or later? Is it going to happen? I don't know. But it seems like the only criteria for an in-conference transfer for the University of Hawaii seems to be if you are a local kid. And the same thing happens, and the thing does apply to Carys Murakami's case. But I think that she's going to do a lot of good for us. And if she was missing home, that's what Hawaii life does to you. If you're from Hawaii, you miss the beach, you miss all the local kind grinds, you miss seeing with your friends, sleeping in your own bed. Those are kind of the things that everybody just wants as a college athlete. Now, obviously, granted, the mainland does have some extra opportunities, and that's why Timmy Chang decided to stay home, just to be a Rainbow Warrior for UH football. And he didn't listen to his parents, and they wanted him to pursue opportunities elsewhere on the mainland, but he chose to stay home because that's a Hawaiian for you. You want to represent your state. And I believe that these two on here are going to represent the state of Hawaii and then some. Add in Milan Ah-Yat. That's three girls who are going to represent the 50th state very, very well. Now, obviously, there are some other girls on some of the Big West rosters, for some of which that I know of off the top of my head. Moani Ioane, she was on Kapolei softball. I know that because I interned, and she was one of the girls I talked to. And there's also she's on CSUN, Moani Ioane I'm talking about. Of course, Jada Nielsen is a California girl. She's from Cerritos, and she was on UH as well, and she transferred to CSUN. But obviously, after talking to Chloe Borges, there was definitely no animosity at all, and obviously she was happy. And of course, sometimes some of those transfers can get a little ugly, and sometimes they can ruffle little feathers, but none of that happened, and that's always good to see. But anyway, as far as other girls go, Trendy Kahuna Hana's from Waimanalo, and she's on the Riverside roster. Kai Barrett is on, I think she's from Punahou. She's on the Cal Poly roster. And Colby McClinton, she's from Kaneohe. She's on the Cal State Fullerton roster. And these are just people off the top of my head that I know of. I think there's another girl on Riverside who's also from the islands, but I can't remember who it was. But anyway, I think that a lot of these holes are going to be filled with Murakami and Thomas coming home, along with Milan Ah-Yat. And when you add in some continued development of Maddox Muramoto and some other girls that have got at least a couple years under them, like Sierra Yamamoto and Mason Gibbs, and of course Isabella Martinez returning for her final season, I think we're going to be in for a good year. Is it going to be a championship year? I don't know. We're probably going to have to pick up some good players, hopefully find another Jocelyn Allo somewhere. Unfortunately, she ended up going to Oklahoma, and so that was a missed opportunity there. But we know they're out there. We just got to find them. It's just like an Easter egg hunt, per se. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. And remember, subscribe, and I'll see you all for Softball 2025. Well, I'm a punter, everyone.